Hey everybody, this is Craig here on Trades Tuesday, and something that we want to talk about. You guys might know, or most of y'all know, we can play all of our training via a desktop, imagine, with a mouse, and we build everything that we do to play in that. We clearly also build everything that we do to play in VR. And you know, the science behind the ability to port stuff and to basically do this training in VR is actually some of the special sauce of the company. And I really want to boil it down to is, how do we make something that ends up being very complicated, very easy to use? And that's actually what our team of UX people, our team of software designers, our team of game developers work day in and day out doing. And one of the coolest things that they've developed over these years of porting skill-based training into VR is our wrist widget and all the features and functions that go into that. So I kind of wanted to dive into that today and show you some of those things that really makes bringing training to life in VR is an awesome experience, maybe I'll put it that way, as possible. So let's dive in. All right, so the key thing if you guys ever jumped into VR in the Interplay training system, and I hope I didn't just, I want to make sure I'm looking at you the right way. See, I turned around, I had to go find the thermostat here, so I kind of instinctually started turning. Let me know if I need to change the way I'm showing this. But basically, in all my procedural steps, I just turn my wrist like this, and right there I've got my procedure guide. So this UI, what we have here, is no different than actually what you have access to via the computer. But we basically had to create a system of how can you access it at all times when you're doing VR. So that's where this wrist widget that I'm talking about here today comes through. So in this case, it's telling me, hey, I need to go to my thermostat and I'm going to set it to cool. And just like how we have in our desktop sims, in this training mode, very gated learning, I'm going to then progress on to the next step. Some cool aspects. As we know, in your training, or when you're doing something, a lot of times we have to dive into tools. It's a little hard for you to constantly keep looking up at your wrist. So one feature that we ended up building is this lock function. So I can actually lock this here, and I can lock this here if I wanted to. And then if I wanted to work on the equipment, whoops, got on wire there, work on the equipment, I can end up going back and even then using these tools here. So this is one of the kind of essence of how do you easily progress along. So here, now I'm actually going to, see, I unlocked it, now it's back on here, now I'm going to lock this, now we're back on the wrist widget. So indoor unit is not operating, outdoor unit actually is. Maybe we'll use my ears here that it's working. Let's go jump on the inside and actually see how some of these elements can work. This is pretty cool. So there was a little warning, it just disappeared. But since we're teleporting you around, we teleport you around, that little warning alert was making sure that you're going to be in the right place so you don't teleport into the indoor unit. We want you to teleport into a location so you can succeed when you get to where you're going. So in this case, I'm going to remove the indoor unit cover. And now let's dive into using some of these tools. Here we go. I'm going to set my, I'm going to freeze those. Now I'm going to pull out my multimeter. And now, just like you would in your day's work here, sometimes you got to get on your hands and knees. And I'm going to put my probes in. I'm looking, okay, I got 24 volts. Okay, that is what I was looking for. And now I'm going to click yes. When we're dealing with electrical, one thing I am going to pop out is to say, hey, I actually can pull out my wiring diagram here. So this actually, in training mode, it's showing me the flow of electricity, everything that's going on. So this is another feature that you actually have implemented in the desktop version. But hey, how do we bring that life in VR? To me, this actually really kind of explodes the learning. And if you want to double check something, it's always right there. So just close that up. You also always have the ability, if we in a training mode, we're going to give you the tool. I can put that tool away. I can grab it again. Already set to volts in training mode. And then also, last but not least, if I did want to jump around to anything, especially in assessment mode, that's when you're going to use this teleportation section. So let's just go ahead and finish the fault, see what we have going on. Once again, I'm in training mode, so I've got where the probes are supposed to go here, got 240. Actually here, let's go back, I gotta click yes. There we go. Now let's go check the load side here. Okay, I did get that, so I'm actually pretty sure that the our fan relay is looking pretty good. Now we're gonna finish up in this training mode exercise, and because we're gonna have to do a few things with the capacitor, but once again, you actually see that lock functionality coming into play. I actually not having to keep looking at my wrist widget. And now I can get back to my hands and knees here. I'm going to isolate the capacitor. Okay. In training mode, we're gonna actually put it on the right setting for you. But in assessment mode, that's something that goes away. So actually in this case, I did not get the reading I wanted. So there we go, click no. So that was allowing me to isolate that, hey, I think it's a capacitor issue. We're gonna go ahead and replace it. We already have the unit turned, or the disconnect turned off here. So there we go. Replace the capacitor, click OK. Gonna turn on the system. Now if I wanted to, got my wrist widget back here. I'm able to easily see that the indoor unit's back on. Let's go jump to feel a little cool blue air blowing. And there we go. And just to kind of show you once again, if I did end up wanting to go check out things, let's say like go to the outdoor unit, I can always just use, here we go, I'm going to teleport to the right spot. There we go, back to the supply vent, feeling cool air, fixing the issue in training mode, ending the sim. And there we go. I hope you guys learned something today here on Trades Tuesday, and excited for you all out there to get to dive into some HVAC training in VR. Have a good one. Bye.